Hello, good day. In this video lecture, I will be discussing to you the objective, problem, and hypothesis formulation. So we will be discussing how will be research objective, problem, and even your hypothesis formulated. After knowing the basic concepts, principles, and process of research, this module takes into detail how research is made. The research proposal phase is an essential part of research conceptualization because it lays down the whole foundation of what the researcher is trying to find out. So the research proposal really lay down the whole foundation of the what the researcher is trying to find out. So it all starts with your research proposal, and it starts with conceptualization of the essential parts of research. Learning objectives. First, distinguish the difference between objectives and problem statements. Formulate research objectives and hypotheses for proposal and implementation. Formulate research problems that could pose as novel in the field of research for proposal and implementation. Differentiate and identify the importance of theoretical and conceptual frameworks, and appropriately use the framework in the actual research process. Okay, identify a problem that you observe in your school or inside a classroom. Or karon, wala man ta sa classroom, no? Identify a problem that you observe in your community or in your respective place. If you were given a chance to solve the problem, what solutions could you give, no? By observing what is happening around you, the research spirit is already in you. Moreover, as soon as you think of a solution and the objective relating to the problem you observe, you may already be conducting a sort of research. So, a simple observing, nanasin mo ang research spirit. But if you think of solution, if you think of objectives relating to the problem you observe, you may already be conducting a sort of research. The exercise aims to make you aware of issues surrounding you and come up with problem statements as well as objectives that are relevant to your own lives as students. No, the exercise aims to aware you about issues surrounding you and come up with really problem statements and research objectives that are relevant to your lives as students. First topic is research objective. What is a research objective? A research objective is a statement designed to understand and gain knowledge about the identified topic of interest in your research. No? A statement that try to understand and gain knowledge about the identified topic of research of your interest in your research. For instance, you wanted to study the level of organizational commitment and the teaching performance of the teachers. So the objective is um, to determine the relationship between organizational commitment and teaching performance. That's objective. No? It tries to gain knowledge about the identified topic of interest in your research. Okay, this should reflect the sources from which your interest in the topic are derived. Objectives answer the questions, why do we want to carry out the research? No, it answers the questions, why do we want to carry out the research? So, it can be answered through the objective. Ganun, nag-conduct man taan nga research. What do we hope to achieve? And what do we want to know or investigate? All of these questions will be answered by research objective. So there are two types of objectives, general and specific objective. So, makita ni objective sa paper, sa statement of the problem, no? So, anay uban nga ilang gamit is research objective. So, not statement of the problem or problem statement. So, naay duha ka types. So, general objective and specific objective. General objective states what the research expects to attain in general terms. This usually includes a broad statement of the goal of the study. That's general objective. No, it states what the research expects to attain in general terms, or this usually includes a broad statement of the goal of the study. For example, my example is the organizational commitment and teaching performance. So the general objective will be to determine the relationship between organizational commitment and teaching performance. That would be the general objective. On the other hand, specific objectives state specific goals that are narrowed down to become more achievable. So from general, Narrow down siya into specific objectives. So, gipagamay pa siya to make it or to become more achievable. These are particular statements of goals that logically connect to one another. So, usually makita na to. So, the three questions in the statement of the problem or the three specific objectives. For example, in my given example, first, to determine the level of organizational commitment. Second, to determine the level of teaching performance. Third, to determine the relationship between organizational commitment and teaching performance. That will be the specific objectives. Research objectives should be SMART, no specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. Specific, it must be simple and brief and concise. Measurable, it must be observable and visible. Attainable, in consideration of both human and material resources, it should be easily attained, be area and population specific. It must be realistic. Accomplishment should be at hand and result oriented. It must be time bound, attainable, and done in a specific targeted time. By having smart research objectives, the study becomes focused, the purpose is made clear, the study becomes more organized, and limits are set. And the progress of the study and data needed are monitored and clearly determined. Research problem. No. Ganina, nagisgot ko research objective. Now, unsa ning research problem? Um, Usually, ang ginahimo sa research objective or research problem. So, kung research objective, it is presented in declarative form. No? Pag research problem, it is presented in interrogative form. What is research problem? It is a complex thought stating an area of concern, condition to improve, a difficulty to eliminate, or scholarly questions raised in the academe. This shows a need to attain a meaningful understanding and deliberate investigation. A topic is identified based on the experiences, observations, and scientific literature. This is also similar with the identification of the research problem, but you should be able to emphasize the research gap. So sa research problem, klaro kayo ang research gap. No, what is research gap? It may be one or more of the following as found in your previous researches related to your topic. So the gap, the problem itself. A research can be done to clarify or validate an existing theory, explain different findings, correct an imperfect methodology. So, naayuban nga mag-research sila is just to validate an existing theory. Ang uban kay just to explain different findings. Ang uban is to correct an imperfect methodology. Asa na nakita nga imperfect methods in the methodology, so ilang i-correct, no? Correct the insufficient and unsuitable application of statistical techniques, resolve conflicting opinions, or solve existing practical problems. Now, what constitutes a good and bad problem statement? So, ang kalahian di ay ha sa research objective o problem statement. Research objective are presented in declarative form. Pagalitan, to determine the relationship of organizational commitment and teaching performance. Then naman, ang specific objectives to determine the level of organizational commitment, to determine the level of teaching performance, and to determine the relationship. But when a problem statement or statement of the problem, it is presented in first, the general problem is presented in declarative form. This study is to be conducted to determine the relationship between organizational commitment and teaching performance, and then followed by three specific questions or problem statements. What is the level? What is the level? Is there a significant relationship between the two variables? So that is problem statement. So when can you say that a problem statement is good and bad? No, good problem statement, clear, precise, and specific. Bad problem statement, it does not reveal the relevance of why you are investigating the topic. So dili clear kung unsa di ang relevance sa imuhang topic. Good problem statement clearly conveys importance, benefits, and justifications of the study. Bad problem statement, not familiar with the researcher. If the topic is not familiar, so that could lead to bad problem statement. Good problem statement generates a variety of viewpoints from multiple audiences made up of able people. Bad problem statement came from unmanageable topic. Good problem statement, must be researchable. Bad problem statement, it must be leaning towards a vague issue. Good problem statement, key concepts and terms are present. Avoid unnecessary jargon, questions overmatch, and key factors or variables are comprehensively identified and the study's boundaries or parameters are articulated. Okay, so much for this video lecture. I will continue my discussion on the formulation of hypotheses and other parts of chapter 1 on the next video lecture. God bless and thank you for listening and thank you for watching.